For as long as I can remember, I've had this fascination with the outdoors and with certain things in nature that other people find dull. When I was a child, I would spend summers at my aunt and uncle's trailer out in the sticks. They had several acres of wooded land, and I would spend every day outside, seemingly oblivious to the ticks and the heat of North Mississippi. I would later come to call it redneck summer camp. I think it was there that I developed this love of being outside and with the seemingly mundane. I'm always the person on road trips pointing out the odd-shaped cloud or the lone tree in an empty field, or as I like to call them, Jerry Bruckheimer trees. I notice especially vibrant fields, the first flowers blooming in early spring, and the first signs of the trees taking their leaves from winter's grasp. I might be the most annoying person to be in a car with. But it wasn't until I met my husband that he began to refer to this as my wonder, and he treated it as something that should be embraced. Although I'm older now and I can't stand up to the heat like I used to, nothing hits quite like taking a walk in the great outdoors. I started this challenge because I hurt my neck in the middle of my last challenge, and I felt like I couldn't keep going, but I still wanted to work out. I'm pretty sure my neck pain was due to sleeping wrong or something else, so I'm gonna try again, and that video is coming. I know that the intro to this video isn't my usual style, but I really wanted it to be a love letter to being outside in nature, because it's currently spring, and that is my favorite season. You guys see the title, I'm assuming, but to clarify for anyone who may be confused, the rules of this challenge were simple. After every meal, I would take a 15-minute walk outside. I was willing to utilize my stepper if need be, but that was not an issue at all. The weather was wonderful, so I didn't actually need to do that. I didn't take walks for any kind of snacks. Anything 200 calories or less to me is definitely a snack. I would only take them for meals. And for me, I typically eat 2 to 3 meals a day. Oftentimes 2 meals. That's not really a Zepbound thing or an intermittent fasting thing. I feel like people hear 2 meals, they think intermittent fasting. It's just how I've been for quite a long time. So I just wanted to be clear with you guys. Most of my days walking, I would average around 4,000 to 6,500 steps. Sometimes a little more or less, sometimes I'd have to go grocery shopping or just was moving a little more, so maybe that accounted for more steps. The purpose of this challenge was literally just to move my body and to get me outside. I found out last month that I have a vitamin D deficiency, so anytime outdoors is just going to help me with that. And I almost feel like I can't really call this challenge a challenge because it didn't feel like working out. I would typically walk at a leisurely pace, and for the most part, I would just kind of be. And if you couldn't tell from the start of this video, I loved this. I loved this so much. I think this is my favorite thing that I've done on my channel so far. But even though it wasn't a challenge, I do want to offer some tips because I am aware that I'm definitely more privileged to be able to do this challenge than a lot of other people. I work from home and I typically get a 15-minute break in the morning that I can take whenever, a 30-minute unpaid lunch, and then depending on my workload, sometimes I'll take a 15-minute break in the afternoon. And because my walks were 15 minutes, I didn't have time to do the things I normally do during my break, like make breakfast or coffee. So I would make that stuff ahead of time. So all I had to do was pick it up and carry it back to my desk so that I could eat and work. I would also wake up a little early to either play with my kittens or make sure they had food, make sure they were set up for the day. Whereas before, I would kind of rely on my breaks to do that. They're still very young, and even though they have each other, it is important to interact with them because, I don't know, I love them, but I just wanted to make sure we got that interaction time, and it also wouldn't interfere with me being able to take that morning walk. In the morning, I would typically take my walks around the apartment complex that I live at, and I won't be showing footage of that for obvious reasons. Sorry for this angle. I've definitely gotten my fair share of weird looks from people in my apartment complex parking lot, and I'm pretty sure they're literally thinking to themselves, why is this fat bitch in sweatpants casing my apartment? I mean, it's just weird. Like, why is she pacing around this parking lot? What's going on here? I will say it was cold one morning, and I don't think that this look really helped.
Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious.
And really quickly, some benefits that I got from this challenge, hopefully raising my vitamin D up. I'm not testing for that for a few more months, so there's no way for me to actually know that. Another thing is I would typically feel a little better and a little more alert. That morning walk definitely would do me some good. It was often cold, hence my scarf look that I had going on in the morning, but it wasn't so cold that it was miserable. So the cold air and the movement would refresh me. I'd often feel sluggish from sitting at my desk, so that really helped. And whenever I would take my walks after work or after dinner, I found that it really helped with like that sort of like evening slump that I would sometimes feel. Yeah, I think it definitely helped with my energy levels. The last thing, I hate to talk about it, so you can skip ahead, I don't know, like a minute if you don't want to hear it. I've heard that walking after meals can aid in digestion. I haven't done any research on this, literally just word on the street is that it can do that. Funnily enough, I used to be kind of against that. I'd be like, I don't want it to aid in digestion. Let the food sit in my stomach where it belongs so I can stay full for as long as possible. And that's dumb. I'm aware that that's stupid, but that is something I used to think. But I am here to tell you, at least for me, I would say it did aid in digestion, and it kind of like, I was pretty regular this week, in a good way, to be clear. It wasn't in a bad way. That's really all I'm going to say, because I'm aware that that's kind of gross, but yeah, I do actually think that there is something to that, and it did aid in digestion. On the last day, I actually decided to challenge myself and try to walk 1 mile within my allotted 15 minutes. I even filmed this cute little transition where I was sort of talking and explaining what I was doing, but the wind was really bad and the audio is horrible, so you're getting this matey explaining it instead. And why, in that footage, do I look like Barbecue Becky? Tell me why. I mean, I have special glasses that go over these glasses, so like they are thicker, but like, what's going on? So before this, I thought that 4 miles an hour was like really brisk walking pace, but I jogged some of it and I still couldn't make it in time. I'm really embarrassed. Maybe it is brisk walking pace for people who are actually tall, but I'm 5'2". I got stumpy little legs, so I couldn't do it. I couldn't manage it. My time was 17 minutes and 52 seconds. And yeah, I'm a little embarrassed by that. That isn't a speed of 3.3 miles per hour. You know, your girl, she's, yeah, again, you know, probably not the best, but you know, hey, you know, it's a start, and it's a slow start, but it's a start nonetheless. All right, I have prattled on long enough. Let's get into these weight loss results.
As usual, I am taking a GLP-1 called Zepbound. I am aware that people are probably getting tired of hearing me say this, but I never want someone to try these challenges for themselves, do exactly what I do, and be unable to replicate my results and be upset. I am on a medication that aids in weight loss.
And I feel like with results like these, the disclaimer is necessary. So at the beginning of this week, I weighed in at 228 pounds even. And at the end of the challenge, drum roll, girl, that is a loss of 3.2 pounds in a week. And I say it every time, but I'm shook because that puts us at 25.2 pounds lost in this journey this year. Yeah. I feel like we just celebrated 20 pounds lost. I feel like we just celebrated that. I don't want to ramble too long about this, but I do feel the need to say that while I am taking Zepbound, anything over 2 pounds for me is above average. I, overall in this journey, have been losing 2 pounds a week. It's a little more, but if I count up the weeks and divide up the amount of weight that I've lost, it's typically about 2 pounds a week. My body really does fluctuate a lot of weeks, so I am paranoid I'm not going to lose any weight next week, because unfortunately my body tends to do that. She tends to hold on to it and let it all out at once. Blah, 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 blah. That's an impression of my body letting go of my fat all at once after holding on to it and holding on to it and holding on to it. I will say one of my other theories as to how I lost 3.2 pounds is I was on my vacation last week. And while I did try for moderation and kind of like eating good things, but also being mindful and eating things that, you know, are healthier and made my body feel good, etc., I achieved moderation for me. But I'm also aware that even though I did, I'm sure I was eating over 1,500 calories a day. So I really do think that it jump-started my metabolism back. I have always been a proponent of that. I refuse to call them cheat meals anymore. That is a resolution I've made with myself. I'm not calling it anything cheat day or cheat meal. It's not. It's just a nice meal. I'll call it an indulgent meal if I want to indicate there's more calories. But I have always felt that way, that eating an occasional higher calorie meal can actually help with your metabolism. Some people say it doesn't. Some people are wrong. I shouldn't say that. I don't know for sure. I'm not a scientist or a doctor. And God, am I rambling. But I almost feel like I have to explain those results because all I did was walk. How did this happen? But I'm excited and happy nonetheless. And really, I'm just incredibly grateful that I hit this milestone. So, if you like this video, like, comment, subscribe. The YouTube wizards love that stuff for the growth of my channel. And I hope you have a great day. Bye!